Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into two huge global conflicts that have been making headlines all around the world: the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Palestine conflict. These events are shaping geopolitics, affecting millions of lives and having a massive impact on the global stage. So let's break it down, understand what's happening and why it matters to all of us. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the world's biggest stories. Let's get into it. Part 1. The Russia-Ukraine War. Okay, first up, let's talk about the Russia-Ukraine War. This conflict began in February 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, and it's been escalating ever since. The reasons behind the war are complicated, but here's a simplified breakdown. Why did Russia invade Ukraine? To put it simply, Russia wants more control in the region, and it sees Ukraine as an important part of its sphere of influence. There's also a lot of tension around the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, expanding eastward, which Russia sees as a direct threat to its security. On the other side, Ukraine wants to join NATO and the European Union, aiming to align more with Western Europe and gain security and economic benefits. Russia doesn't want that, and it's also concerned about losing influence over Ukraine. The impact. The war has caused massive destruction in Ukraine. Ukraine with thousands of civilians killed and millions displaced. The conflict has also triggered a global energy crisis, as Russia is a major oil and gas exporter. Countries in Europe and elsewhere are feeling the pinch from rising energy prices, and many countries have imposed sanctions on Russia in response. The war has led to widespread humanitarian crises, with refugees fleeing Ukraine and many cities left in ruins. It's also brought the world's attention back to the issue of nuclear weapons, as Russia is one of the world's biggest nuclear powers, and tensions continue to rise. The latest developments. As of January 2025, both sides are still in a deadlock. The Ukrainian military has been pushing back Russian forces, especially in the eastern regions, but the fighting is far from over. There have been reports of heavy artillery fire, airstrikes, and intense battles over key areas like Bakhmut, Tigris, and Mariupol. On the diplomatic front, there have been talks, but no concrete peace agreement yet. The war continues to be a huge concern for global security, and many countries are looking for ways to bring the conflict to an end. Part 2. The Israel-Palestine Conflict. Now let's shift gears and talk about the Israel-Palestine conflict, which has been one of the longest-running and most complex conflicts in modern history. What's the story? At the heart of this conflict is the question of land, identity, and political sovereignty. In simple terms, the conflict revolves around Israel, a state established in 1948, and the Palestinians, who have lived in the region for centuries. The Palestinians want to establish their own independent state in the territories of the West Bank and Gaza, but Israel also claims the same land. There are multiple religious, cultural, and political factors that make the situation even more complicated, and both sides have deeply rooted grievances. Over the years, there have been numerous wars, uprisings called intifadas, and peace efforts, but a lasting resolution remains elusive. Why is it still ongoing? The Israel-Palestine conflict is fueled by several factors. 1. Territory. Both Israelis and Palestinians want control over land that they believe is historically and religiously theirs. 2. Security. Israel is concerned about its security and the threat of violence from groups like Hamas, which controls Gaza. 3. Human rights. On the Palestinian side, there's frustration over the Israeli military occupation of the West Bank and the blockade of Gaza, which has led to severe economic and humanitarian challenges. Fourth, international involvement. Other countries like the United States, Iran, and several Arab nations have taken sides or tried to mediate peace talks. This has only added to the complexity of the situation. The impact. The Israel-Palestine conflict has resulted in thousands of deaths and ongoing suffering on both sides. Gaza in particular has been heavily impacted by bombings, military blockades, and a lack of basic necessities like food, water, and healthcare. Israel also faces constant security threats, including rocket attacks from groups like Hamas,